You're listening to Served Up, a podcast that features inspiring beverage professionals and topic experts that share their passions through meaningful conversations. I'm your host, Bridget Albert, also known as the Market Fresh Mixologist, an industry mentor with decades of experience. Grab a cocktail and sit back. Let's learn how we can make a positive impact in our industry. Hey y'all, it's Bridget here. In this conversation, Kimberly Patton Bragg, a beverage hospitality industry icon, reflects on her experiences that shaped her deep love for hospitality and service. She shares the pivotal moments in her journey that strengthened her relationship, resilience, and commitment to creating meaningful guest experiences. Through her candid storytelling, she reveals how passion, perseverance, and purpose continue to guide her in the industry. So sit back, relax, grab yourself your favorite cocktail, and enjoy the show. Kimberly, I'm so excited to have you on Served Up. Thank you for being on this show.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
Wonderful. Can you tell our listeners about yourself? Really, what brought you into the beverage industry and where did you get your start?
Okay, so my start technically was being 9 years old and mixing prune juice and grapefruit juice for older dudes at the country club for bicycle and album money. So I guess it really started way back then. I'm originally from Florida, and I've been in a few industries, mainly retail, and I ran a toy store in Soho for 6.5 years. Once I closed, I went back into the industry. Before that, I had done anything from, there was a steak chain that I worked for, things of that nature, a fine dining place in Jacksonville, Florida. And then when the toy store had closed in New York, I was an actor. I mean, I'm a walking cliche. I fell in love with bartending, it was, which has been a path for a lot of people, especially when we find out that it pays better than Shakespeare. And that was also when the cocktail renaissance was first starting. That's when Flatiron first started opening, employees only.
And that's like when the Pegu clubs of the world, and Milk and Honey, and all of those amazing places. Yes,
absolutely. It was really funny. One time, Audrey Saunders came into the place where I worked, and I was like, and she's like, "I'm cool. I just want a glass of wine. It's okay." And now, I love her to death. And then I was accepted into the CAP program where I met Kyle. I was the first year of being a CAP.
Can you tell our listeners what the CAP program is?
Yeah, the CAP is the Cocktail Apprentice Program at Tales of the Cocktail. And they choose people from all over the world to come in and do what we do best, which is to make events happen and just get it done. It's a huge prestige. It's done a lot of things for my career, mainly by meeting other great people that are just about just as passionate about this industry as I am. And we had a great time together, even more importantly. I mean, our job as bartenders is to make sure people have a good time, and then you have a whole bunch of them together. I mean, it's a blast. It's a bunch of wonderful, creative pirates all over the place. So that get everything done. That first year, we didn't even have a Sunkist juicer. We hand squeezed 30 cases of lemons and 30 cases of limes a day with little elbow crunch.
Oh my God.
Yeah. We were blissfully motivated by whiskey given to us by the late great Gary Regan and many others, because they were like, "Oh, you guys, I'm so sorry." And they were very, very kind to us, and we got it done. And it was only like 10 of us at that point. Phil Ward was the head of the CAPS at that time. That's where I met Chris Hanna, who was in Rhiannon, who were my first friends here in New Orleans. That was also the year that I moved to New Orleans that September after Tales.
That's a big year for you. I mean,
it was a lot. It was a lot.
So you've been in New Orleans now for quite a while. And for those listening, especially I know we have listeners from all around the globe who have never been to New Orleans. Can you paint kind of just a picture of New Orleans? Let's do that first. And then the second part of that question is, what is it like to live and work within the city?
It's wild, and all senses of the word. This is a very vibrant city. It's one of the most unique cities in the world. Like I was telling Kyle a little bit earlier, it's like there's a good chance that a brass band is going to pass by my front door because it's Mardi Gras season here right now. So things are a little extra crazy. We have people coming in here to celebrate, perform, all that kind of stuff. Mardi Gras is a great equalizer also, because that's why you costume, because it makes everybody kind of equal in a way. And it's our day. I mean, this is really one of the days that a lot of us bartenders don't work. So it's another day because it's for us and the locals, the people here. And it's a great time because, as bartenders, we almost never get to see each other. So when we get to see each other all together, it's a great, great celebration. So there's music everywhere. There's color everywhere. There's corruption everywhere. There's that. So, I mean, it's difficult to live here, I'll be honest, but the payoff is worth it. So,
yeah, I bet. And how do you think that the hospitality differs in New Orleans versus other places that you've worked?
It was kind of funny. The place where I worked in New York was a barbecue place and a jazz club. And I let my Southern come out even more than I do while I'm living in the South. Because are you going to listen to somebody, who's like, dude, these ribs are fucking delicious. Or somebody's going to go, darling, you're going to love these. They're going to fall right off the bone. You're going to be so happy. And they just eat it up. They're like, yes, ma'am. I'm like, thank you very much. But I came from, a very Southern hospitality based even family. We did a lot of entertaining and stuff like that. It's just part of the fabric of being Southern. Not that everybody doesn't, have people over at their house and dinner parties and all that kind of stuff. But there's a different gentility that I think happens down here. But you also have to be tough, because people sometimes will see gentility as a point of softness. That's a mistake you make only once.
Yeah. No, I bet. Well, let's take it back just a minute, because you said that, your family, so you grew up in a household that was very hospitable. It sounds like maybe you entertained. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, I always joke that my mother is kind of a sweet Southern version of Martha Stewart. So there's always, any sort of dinner or anything, it was just planned to the nines. And also growing up, and this is in the 70s when we're little, there were my mom really liked to experiment with cooking. It wasn't like all Jell-O molds and things like that. And I remember for one party, mom did shrimp curry in Jacksonville, Florida in the 70s. I mean, that's crazy. And she sold it to all of us as shrimp sundaes, because there was rice and shrimp, and then there were little bowls of coconut and chutney and raisins and peanuts and all that other kind of stuff. So it was also active for the kids as well. So that's taking a dinner and then also making it fun, which also makes more a visceral education on what you're eating without even knowing it, and also being hospitable and going, this isn't just a dinner. We're going to make this fun for you.
Yeah, that's really amazing. Because now when you look back at your career and your life, and I know how open you are to flavors, right?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you judge spirit competitions, for instance. Do you think some of that knowledge that you gained as a child, carries over?
100%. Absolutely. I'm very grateful, for all the lessons that I was taught growing up, whether it's being at home or being at the country club serving golfers or anywhere. You're going to learn something different everywhere that you work, because it's all different clientele, different styles of food. I've done anywhere from dive bars to fine dining. So it's something you learn, and I love that I get to learn something all the time too. every day. The more you know you don't know.
Yeah, boy,
Right now I'm
that's for
working in a
sure.
place that focuses on Italian food and wines. Italian wines were normally my Achilles heel, and now I'm gaining some great education from my boss and friend about Italian wines, because that's his great passion. So it's also easier to learn when you feel that there's an actual passion
Yeah.
coming from the teacher. Ask anybody who's had a class with a burnt out tenured professor. They will
Right,
tell
right.
you.
Well, no, for sure, for sure. And don't you feel like within our industry too, like there's so much to know. And once you think that you know it all, I
Absolutely.
think that you go find a different fucking job, because guess what? You can never know it all because it's always changing.
No, always changing. And
Always
there's
changing.
history in every single bottle. And there's, whether it's the history of that actual spirit or the label or how it was
Hmm.
created or anything, or how it's celebrated, and what people celebrate it with, there's always something to learn. So, I was lucky enough to study and get my American whiskey executive steward. I'm getting the words wrong. Chef in American whiskey. I'm working on a certification in Irish whiskey right now. It's, and being able to go to different countries. I've been fortunate that brands have sent me to different countries to learn more about it, which also translates to more education and passion about that product from their guests, because they're hearing an actual story. Yeah, I was there, where this agave grew. I was there where, they're digging up the peat, that type of stuff. It's visceral. And people really, really, and guests really enjoy that you go that extra mile to really learn about these spirits too. So it justifies, prices on the menu, all that other kind of stuff, so that they feel the worthiness.
Absolutely. And it gives you so much credibility, right? When you
Absolutely.
actually speak to it, like, look, I've been there. And it also lends so much to your authenticity too. I feel like throughout hospitality, because you personally had that experience now that you have to share. It's not somebody just read it off of a sales sheet or something.
No, you've touched it, you've smelled it, all of that kind of stuff. And also you're telling your guests, hey, if you're down in Oaxaca, go see this place and that place. And, I get people all the time asking about different places that I've been to, where do you suggest going? And that's why I chose this spirit and this drink for you and all that kind of stuff too. So
right. You've been in hospitality for quite some time. What changes have you seen? How long?
Almost 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah, same. So, when we've been in the sector for such a long time, I know you've seen a lot of changes. Can you talk to some of the positive changes that you've seen in our industry?
Yeah, I have seen some positive changes. It's not as much of a boys' club as it used to be. There's still things that we need to work on and stuff like that too, but not nearly as much as it was when I first started, which is a definite positive. I also like that our guests are more educated. It helps push you to learn more and also to create more and everything, because they're wanting to. It's kind of like when the Food Network first came out. It's like, did you expect to see an asparagus risotto in a Target before Food Network? Absolutely not. And so that it was a matter of time when things like Food Network and stuff like that were gaining popularity, that was going to spill over into drink. And I've always said this, I've mainly been restaurant specific, is you have to, when the drink is the first thing that comes to your table, and it costs a certain amount of dollars, if that quality is not there, what do you expect that appetizer to be? So it really sets the tone for the restaurant. And my personal philosophy when I'm working for restaurants is I'm a bar for the restaurant. It's not a restaurant for the bar. So I really try to honor the food with wherever I'm working.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really, really, really important. And I love that you said that hospitality is not so much a boys' club anymore. For me, I see it just being so much more diverse than it's ever been.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're seeing that as well.
Yeah, it is very diverse. And we also work, down here in New Orleans, turning tables is a very big thing. I've actually had two cohorts that I've been lucky enough to train, and they're in the workforce. It's a great thing. Still lots of work to do, but it's definitely there. I think another big positive change in the industry is whether you're a server or bartender or line cook or whatever, people are now looking at that not as, so what do you do when you're behind the bar? I don't hear that anymore. And I don't know if it's because I've been in the industry so long and I have a certain bit of notoriety, but I don't hear people complaining about that anywhere anymore. I don't think people ask you, so what do you do for a living while you're pouring them a drink?
That was a thing. Like, what are you going to do next? I used to get that question.
Exactly.
Like, I know you're doing this now, but are you going to college or like, what do you know? No, I actually.
I'm going to finish that ticket that I hear at the service bar right now. So, yeah, that's definitely gone away, which I think is great because this is an industry that should be respected. We have immense amount of knowledge, and we are people that like really want to gain more knowledge, more importantly. And so I think that's just respected, just like you study any other industry, people in insurance have to go get their tests like every 2 years and stuff like that. So it's really nice that that's kind of gone by the wayside. And also we're making more than you in the cubicle. So, okay. So, all right. If you want to feel that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little bartender here.
That's so true. So we talked about like the positive changes that you've seen. So I also want to talk about what are some things that you think that we need to work on?
I think one of the things that we need to work on, I know that it's something that I'm just going through also, is there still is a good bit of ageism.
Oh, can we talk about ageism?
I knew when I saw you, I was like, it's going to come up.
My gray hair.
Uh-huh. I mean, in this industry, it's like you can count on one hand how many national brand ambassadors that are women in particular that are over 50.
Yeah.
It's a thing,
It's a thing.
And in larger cities, they are, asking, I don't know if this is still a thing. It started being a thing in New York before I left, is asking for headshots along with your bio and your resume and stuff like that. And also how many clicks you have and all that other kind of stuff. But yeah, I think headshots are a very easy way to get around a lot of legal issues.
Yeah, I would think so too, right?
They can immediately, just like a casting director would in a way. And I hope it's more of that rather than something more nefarious. But you don't really see a lot of older women behind the stick, whether it's on their own choice or they're just not getting work.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm still here, I'm still moving boxes. I'm still doing all that kind of stuff, still overthinking service, all that kind of things.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that ageism is something that we don't talk about enough, and especially as females, because with ageism also comes things like menopause that definitely affect you, at work and at home, and how you react to things. I mean, it's such a big topic.
Yeah, it's that, and it's also vilification. It's like people are just like, oh, you're just in menopause. It's almost like, oh, you're on your cycle. It's really insulting. It's like, we know how to handle it. Come on, while this bartender is crying over, losing $50 on a football bet. It's like, who's emotional here? So it's definitely a thing. And it goes for men too. You don't often see saloonists anymore. There are a few out there. Of course, Chris McMillan is still behind the stick here and there, and all that kind of stuff. And there's some really, really great ones. It's like the guys over at Napoleon House. They've been there for centuries.
Yeah.
And it's something that if they didn't have that, where are they going to go? It's a little bit difficult. It's like, that's why people start to feel stuck in their jobs too, because they're like, oh God, if I lose this job, it's going to be a lot harder for me now that I'm older to find a job, because they want the new young
Yeah.
thing,
Who's ever trending on TikTok or whatever it might be.
I still don't have TikTok. I have enough social media that I don't care. So I scroll too much as it is. I don't need yet another platform to do that.
On now. I agree with you. I think things were a lot, as much as they were harder, coming up in this industry 30 plus years ago.
Yeah.
There are things that were easier because we didn't have the social media aspect at first.
Thank God it wasn't around in college.
Oh my God. Thank God it was around high school for me. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'd be probably in jail. So no, I'm glad.
Easy.
Yikes.
My name was always Ann Whitegate when the cops would come and bust our parties in high school. What's your name? Ann Whitegate. Like, I know who you are, Kim. I know your mother.
Oh my God. That is so funny. That is so crazy. Because you're located, I think, in one of the most marvelous cities in the United States, you have such a cool culinary scene. You really do.
Absolutely.
Like nowhere else is like it. Like where all these cultures really come together to create something so incredibly special and beautiful. And we know, like, if you've ever been to New Orleans, if you haven't been to New Orleans, there's so much lore there with voodoo, and then it's haunted, and there's vampires. I mean, it couldn't be like
it's all of it. We actually
bigger.
You'll see real estate signs that either say haunted or not haunted.
And
either one is a selling point.
That is crazy.
It's wild. I lived in the quarter for 14 years. I was a quarter rat for a while. And, part of my walk from home, I always was passing by the ghost tours and the vampire tours.
Oh, sure.
And stuff like that. So just viscerally, I'm overhearing, more history of the city, which is really, really fascinating. It's rich down here with all of that. It's a very mysterious place, a mysterious place that actually lets everything out in the open, if that makes any sense. And food, forget it, If you are afraid of flavor, do not come to the city.
Boy, you're right. You are right.
It's like every now and then we'll get people who are like, "Oh, this is spicy." I'm like, "Girl, you don't know spice. That is nothing." So, yeah, we season our food here. So, and it's part of the passion here. It's like, there's still bars here. There's one around the corner for me that you wouldn't even believe it's a bar. It's like this tiny, tiny house. And every Monday they have free red beans and rice for everybody. That's very common in a lot of bars here. Because food is our gift to you, and it's also a little bit of bragging rights too. It's like, she's got the best boudin or whatever. So it's really, really wonderful. I had to learn a whole different language of foods when I came down here. Luckily I was from the South anyway, so I was familiar with a lot of it. But it's like I had never had boudin before. I didn't know what that was. There's 5 million. I didn't know what a beignet was. Every single culture has a sweet fried bread,
Right.
It's like when I was living in New York, when Williamsburg was still Italian a million years ago, I had just moved there, and I asked at the pizza place what a zeppoli was, and they looked at me like I was insane, because I had never heard of it, so it's a whole different language. That and being able to pronounce the streets here, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. And
you can hear the Calliope play on the river on Calliope Street. Go figure. So, and it's fun to hear people try to pronounce Tchoupitoulas for the first time. So that's pretty interesting too. So.
I bet. I want to stick on New Orleans for just a minute because you do live in such a unique, special place. Can you talk to just some of the things like culturally that stand out to you that really makes New Orleans special?
I would say the diversity and the acceptance here.
Okay. That's huge.
It is. It's like this was the place for Southern decadence. This is where it created, which brought a whole bunch of Southern gays out into the forefront, and they were actually able to have a wonderful, fun weekend in their hometowns. That might not have necessarily been true,
Mm-hmm.
We don't think twice when we see somebody wearing something ridiculous. People have costume closets in their house. There's always something to do. Any sort of activity has something else attached to it, whether it's like, oh, let's all wear this, or, let's stop at this bar and say hello to this bartender or this one and that one. It's very communal as well. Our bartending community is very tight. We all know each other very, very well, which is why things like, Christmas and Mardi Gras are important to us, because those are the only days that we don't work and we get to see each other and not just torso.
Right.
So, or in my case, neck,
Yep.
2 feet tall. So it's so funny when you're behind a bar and, people know me behind the bar and then I'll come around for a hug or whatever. They're like, oh my God, you're tiny. What just happened here? So I think with my big barreling voice and obnoxious personality, I think they assume that I'm much bigger than I am. But the city is very full of music and laughter. A lot of pain too, which is why we celebrate so hard.
Yeah.
So that's why our second lines, we shake the devil off. It's like, that's why the dancing happens. It's like, instead, no, let's celebrate. Can
you talk about what a second line is for the listeners that may not know?
Second line. So the first line is going to be the family and the funeral and stuff. And the second line is going to be everybody who joins in, and you hire brass bands and stuff like that. And they perform. And I mean, they shut the streets off for people dancing, and anybody can join in, whether they know the person or not. Just come dance with us. It's a really wonderful thing. And even if you want to have a celebration for yourself, you can just go to the police station, spend $250 for a permit, and guess what? You now own that street for like an hour. It's crazy. So
that is crazy. That doesn't happen in any other city.
No. Plus your Go Cups. So so you're out there with your drink and all that kind of stuff. It's the only thing you can't do is don't put glass out. So don't drink with glass on the streets. But I've actually found a way out of spite in every city I've gone to throughout the world. I figure out a way to get a Go Cup. I figure out a way out of spite. Because it's like, once you're used to that part of the culture, it's like, what do you mean I can't drink outside? I'm a grown-ass woman. You're going to bust my barbecue? That's outside. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I think it also, helps, promote binge drinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I got to hurry up and finish this drink,
100%.
So it's just, let's be adults here. This is kind of also the supposed to stay. It's like, well, you're not supposed to, but
yeah. Can you
basic rule for living in New York is just don't fuck up, don't be an asshole. That's it,
and you'll be fine.
That's all we need. So
yes. Can you tell our
put on some sparkles?
Can you tell our listeners a little bit more about yourself? Because to me, you are a true artist.
Oh, thank you.
I know that you have hobbies outside of your career. So can we talk about those? Because I do think that everybody needs an outlet of some
absolutely
sort. You can't just be work all of the time. And it's really important to kind of just refuel our soul. So can you talk about what those moments are for you?
Yeah, I do a lot of cross stitching. So especially during COVID, good Lord. And I really enjoy that because it keeps my hands active. And it's also that sense of completion that happens. And also, I grew up a sewer. My mom also is a sewer. So she does a lot of English smocking and French heirloom stuff. So I grew up with that. And I initially went to college for fashion design. And my specification was millinery. So hat making. So I enjoy making hats every once in a while. I need to start getting back into that. Because Lord knows this city loves hats. So it's not a huge business. I make great financial decisions, by the way. So I switched from fashion design into the stable career of theater. It is what it is. I did some performing a lot in New York. I get the itch every now and then, but that's what karaoke's for. So definitely always have some sort of project going on. I'm actually doing a huge cross stitch. She doesn't know yet. She's a huge Beatles fan. I'm doing a huge cross stitch of the Beatles for her and her husband for their wedding. They got married.
Oh, that's really great. That's really great. And you're phenomenal.
To get done.
You're an incredible makeup artist as well.
Thank you. I've always all over.
Incredible. You need to tell the people about that, because I'm always blown away when you do special things with your makeup. I'm like, oh my gosh, she just walked off of
So I really, really enjoy doing makeup. And I'll do just makeup on my own just for fun. It does relax me, and it does help with creativity and stuff like that too. I did for Halloween, I always do some pretty intense Halloween makeups, and they're, horror makeups, or I'll be like the tattooed bearded lady from the 30s, like you see on sideshow things. Then on Mardi Gras, I usually choose an artist that I will replicate on my face. Like I've done artwork from Yayoi Kusama, Keith Haring. I was a mosaic one year. It's crazy, and these makeups take 2 to 3 hours, so it's pretty crazy. But I really, really enjoy doing it. I'm missing Mardi Gras this year. I have to go home and do a family thing, which is good because now I don't have to worry about it for Halloween. I'm going to be lava goddess, so
can't wait. I can't wait.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So there will be a hat involved in that one.
Yeah. Well, it is true art,
Thank you. Thank you for noticing that. It's something I really do love doing, and I don't even think about it. So thank you for bringing that up. So.
Yeah, it's incredibly special. Like I have a hard time putting eyeliner on, so I'm always like marveled by what you do.
It's a lot of fun, and it is a lot of practice. I always said that, if I could have done it all over again and everything, I think I probably would have liked to have gone into movie makeup.
Yeah, you would have done just fine. It's never too late, Kim. It's never too late.
It's never too late.
There's a real talent for you there, I think.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Can you talk to our listeners that are listening to your story and they're maybe just like curious about the beverage industry and the careers that are available and thinking about making a change for themselves and entering our industry? What advice would you have for them?
Take your ego out of it.
It's a good one. Put on a t-shirt.
Take your ego out of it. Start as a damn barback. Start as a damn dishwasher. Start to feel the actual motion of the restaurant or the bar or any of that kind of stuff. Know that you're going to learn something from everyone you work with. It doesn't matter if they're older or younger than you, if they're experienced or non-experienced. There's been tons of stuff that, there's a newbie and, they just start doing something like a way they're cutting fruit or something that you completely never thought to do it that way. And it's because you're seeing it with fresh eyes. I'm learning as much as I'm mentoring also. But definitely take your ego out of it so you can listen and see what also works for you or what doesn't. And just continue to educate yourself as well, because that does bleed onto your customer service. There's nothing more annoying than going to a restaurant. You're like, so what is sorrel? Or what is, whatever brand it is. And, the bartender or server doesn't know, or the server doesn't know anything about the food there. That doesn't help you sell things. That does not help you line your own pockets. You can't sell what you don't know. And
that's true.
It's very true. But also keeping in mind that you don't know everything.
Where can our listeners find you, Kim?
Yes,
I'm on social medias. Where are you at on social?
On social, I'm at KPB Mix-a-Lot on Instagram, and just Kimberly Patton Bragg on Facebook. KPB actually came from before the CAP program. It started happening in New York. It was after I got married. Somebody started calling me that because I hyphenated my name because I'm a Patton and I'm married to Bragg. I'm like, two generals. Come on, I have to hyphenate. And people are like, I'm not saying all that. You're KPB from now on. And it just stuck. So,
are you really related to these generals?
I am.
No, you're not.
Yeah,
are you really?
I am. So, yeah, actually, my dad.
Know this? Share that story.
So, my dad actually, when his father passed, had a whole bunch of letters and stuff that Patton had written to him during the war. He was in the war as well, and he donated it. This is really weird and random. Fort Knox actually has the Patton Museum. So my dad donated all of that to his museum. So
That's incredible. Have you been?
No, I haven't been yet. I haven't been to Tennessee in a long time. So, but yeah, I definitely, it's on my list. Whenever I go to DC, my stepdaughter lives in Virginia. And so whenever my husband and I go to DC, we always go to the Portrait Museum. So at the Smithsonian, so I can say hi to him. So
That's wild. Do you have any family stories that you can share that were passed down?
I don't, because back then also people didn't talk about the war, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
So didn't really talk much about it at all. But yeah, it's something that I'm definitely very proud of. And my husband's not related to Bragg. So, but I just thought it was funny there was two generals' last names.
It is. It's amazing. I'm so glad that I asked.
I'm also the last Patton. I'm the last of the line. So my sister got married and took their name. And so that's it. And I don't have kids. So never had that desire. And so, yeah, I'm into the line. So I wanted to keep the name. Wow.
It's such an interesting thing. I had no idea.
Yeah. And there's also a Patton thing. I think it's either a Galatoire's or Antoine's. There's a small plaque for how many oysters he had eaten there. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So random.
Yeah, I know. Weird.
Gosh. Well, listen, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. Would you come back on the show again?
I'd love to. Absolutely.
I would love to just hear more. I feel like we're just scratching the surface with you because I know you're just such a creative, interesting human. You're wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, it's good to see your face. Any excuse to see you again.
You too.
I haven't seen you since Run Amok, so
been way too long.
Yeah, way too long.
Way too long.
We were judging the bathing suit costume. I think.
Oh gosh,
I think it's you, me, and Lynn House. I think. So yeah,
yes, we were, and that was something else.
It was.
Times never changed.
There was a lot of skin that day.
A lot of skin and some things that are not appropriate. That's for sure. For another show. But I want to just thank you so much for being on Served Up, and I want to wish you some great health and a lot of peace. And I can't wait to have you on again.
Thank you. Anytime, honey.
Thanks for listening. Served Up is brought to you by Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits. Produced by Zunu.online. Music by We Killed the Lion can be found on Spotify. Make sure to subscribe to be notified of our future Served Up episodes. Cheers.